we now begin our look at urban geography or urban planning, which is a subset of urban geography, or sometimes it's called urban studies, which is different from ethnic studies, as I mentioned earlier. Ethnic studies is focused almost in totality on the people. With urban geography, we're kind of looking at the landscape and describing what's happening on the landscape. But both of those things have great validity and they work very nicely together. I'm going to be going through terms that you may very well have heard, things like redlining and gentrification and urban sprawl and suburbs and exurbs and the central business district, downtown, uptown, the plaza. What kind of house is that? All of these things I'm going to go through and more, not necessarily in this order, but we're going to be going through these things. I personally really like urban geography. It's one of the things I have a kind of interest in myself. Now, there are essentially, for our purposes, two types of settlements. What we're going to start with is what's known as an urban settlement or urban settlements. In urban settlements, the economic activity is centered on manufacturing, trade, and services. Whereas rural settlements, the other type of settlement, the economic activity is centered on agriculture, especially agricultural procurement, so getting the food out of the ground. And we are going to look at models. I really love models anyway, so we're going to look at them. But remember all the time, models are just a generalization. They're a jumping off point for further study, further research, and to help understand things so we have a base. We're going to look at the Burgess concentric zone model, the Hoyt sector model, and two versions of the multinodal multi-nuclei model. Do you recall some of the other models we've looked at? Like, for example, the von Thunen model. Remember, the von Thunen model has to do with agriculture. It assumes a uniformly flat and fertile landscape. The city is in the middle. Everybody who lives in the city gets all of their necessary agricultural products from the surrounding landscape. And as a result of that, you get these concentric rings that go around the city. With the intensive agriculture, like horticulture, dairying, that means that you have to put a lot of effort into it, but they produce a lot of money and you get a lot of crop, but at the same time, the crop might spoil easily. Things like forestry also, because it was heavy back in von Thunen's time in the beginning of the 19th century, those things are going to be close to the city. Whereas as you increase distance, the agricultural products become more and more extensive, so less human input on the land, you get less food per acre, and it makes less money. Also, the central place theory by Walter Christaller, which means essentially, in essence, here's what this is, once again, that the larger the urban area, the greater the amount of services and the larger area that those services can draw customers from. The smaller the urban area, the smaller the town or the village, whatever terminology you want to use, the less services that tend to be available, and the people who live there might have to travel greater distances in order to be able to acquire certain types of services, right? You remember that. You know what a CBD is? No, not that. Come on. Come on. This is a geography class. This is the central business district. And we're going to focus on that. This is generally the oldest part of the city. It's visually distinct from the rest of the city, as you're going to see momentarily. It's the hub of commercial activity for consumers, businesses, and public services like governmental services. Remember, I went through these before at one point. And we're going to use Los Angeles as our focal point because, of course, this course is being taught through a college in Southern California, Santa Ana College. So I assume that everybody has at least some familiarity with Los Angeles, but you could apply it to other places like Chicago, where it's been applied a lot, to St. Louis, to Dallas, for example. But if you look at downtown Los Angeles, the central business district, the center of the city, which is also the oldest part of the city, it's the place where the original people who came up from Mexico to found the city of Los Angeles settled, you can see that it is visually distinct from the rest of the city. On a beautiful day when this photograph was taken, right? With the gorgeous San Gabriel Mountains in the background, because downtown Los Angeles is very vertical. If you look at the rest of the city tends to be very horizontal. So are there residential properties in the CBD, in the center of the city, where all that verticality is at? Well, If there are residential properties, they tend to look like this. They also tend to be vertical. So that would mean if there are residential properties, it tends to be high population density and the people are stacked one atop the other in these very, very high-rise apartment buildings. But it depends on the city. In Los Angeles, we tend to have very, very low density central business district. Not a lot of people live there. They come in during the day as they commute in, and they work, and then they leave in the evening. But in New York, of course, the density is higher in the central business district, the multiple central business districts that they have in New York City. All right, this is our start. And now from this, we're going to begin to build on our understanding of urban geography.